I don't know.
That's
up to the YouTube gods. I mean, I believe the internet gods are placated right now, so the router gods seem to be soothed. Right. Yeah, so we're not trying to upset them. What were words? I don't know. I believe we're here. I don't know if I'm actually here till my existence is validated by others, but I will endeavor to move forward. There are words. What are they? I don't know. Hello.
Hi.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. One clock says we're here 4 minutes early, and another clock says we're here 7 minutes early before our live stream. I don't actually know.
No, this clock is off.
This is our weekly live stream. We record our podcast, the audio version of which hits all major podcast apps every Friday. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 minutes, or 5 or 6 minutes, or 7 or 8 minutes. But if you were here for the live stream and you don't like idle chit chat, you got a few minutes. If you were here after the live stream and don't like idle chit chat, but I haven't put in timestamps yet, fast forward by anywhere from 4 to 7 minutes. I don't actually know this week. What do we have to like manually set it like we're in the ye olden times?
Yeah.
In the 1900s? That's some crap. I'm trying not to get demonetized in the first minute.
I gotta get the horses out and hitch them up to the mill and have them turn the gears.
You're thinking of the 1800s. That just shows how old we are. The 1900s does not register to me as old, even though it makes me feel old.
Or if you really want to feel old, I need to shift the sundial.
Anyway. Our existence has been validated. Thank you so much. I'm going to say hello to folk before the silliness overtakes us yet again. Hi, X. Hi, Basies. Hi, Freckled Awesomeness. Hi, Tayshu. Hi, HM. Hi, Silent. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Claire. Eel and rice and here on time. I'm not sure how I feel about the eel, personally. But you're full of good things and you're here on time, so yes, that is worth celebrating.
Right.
I am not full of good things. I'm full of shit, and that's always been true. That has forever been true. Tayshu, YouTube is YouTube. I went into the dashboard today to see, because I'd forgotten it existed for a few days. And so I was like, oh, there's nothing important in there. And there was a problem with, not with monetization, but with it showing whether a video has monetization or not. And so I had all of these videos where it was not showing anything. I was like, what happened? So then I'm checking the dashboard for any, mean messages. And then I look up and there's an error message that there was an internal error problem that was probably something making it difficult to see something monetization. And I was like, okay, as long as it's not me. It's not me. So, hi, Isn't Doc's mom. And I thought you had said it was a kid's birthday today. Japanese for lunch sounds... it sounds good in theory to me. What have I had that's Japanese? I've never had eel. I'm sure of that.
I know. I've never
Is hibachi Japanese?
I think so.
I don't want to be insensitive, and I don't want to lump all Asian cultures together because that's some bullshit. But I know I love hibachi, but they cook my food there, and it's never been eel. So I don't know if we're talking about the same kind of experience.
I don't know.
Hi, Clipper RN.
Well, I know the hibachi place that was
Mrs. Billings.
down the road from us when we lived in Tarpon. We went there.
And that nice one, the restaurant one?
And, it was never something that interested me, but I noticed towards when you walk in, where there's kind of the waiting area, towards the back, they had an area with sushi.
Oh, like on the there's a thing it's called now. It's almost like a conveyor belt kind of system.
The newer ones, yeah. This wasn't that fancy at the time, but...
Yeah. Anyway, hi, Andre. I have, Tayshu, knock on wood, I have missed some of those Etsy internal error messages, thankfully.
Same.
I do get all the YouTube ones. Oh, and the Shopify ones. I now get the Shopify ones. Shopify changed something somewhere, and I'll bet it's not even a thing they meant to change, or they changed something else, and this is what it affected. I like to have multiple tabs open. I don't like to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I know.
But I also like to have multiple tabs open of the site I'm on, not just multiple sites. So typically when I'm in the Kinkery, thekinkery.com, the back end of the Kinkery, I'll have orders here. If I'm working on products, I'll have that tab open. When I'm working on orders, I'll open each order in a new tab so that I don't miss my place. I don't have to refresh, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
It will not let you do that anymore.
Really?
I will right click, say open a new window, and the window will open, and then it will just be blank and nothing will load. And that is brand new.
Wow.
After there had been some errors and we were down for a hot minute. So yeah.
So
I don't know what they tweaked, but that's
well, maybe
what
it's
got
not a
affected.
tweak. Maybe when it went down, something broke in the back end, and that's something they still need to fix. Who knows?
I don't know. Oh gosh, the 800s. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Mrs. Billings asked if we'll be doing any more fundraisers. Yes, I don't know when though. We have not talked about it. But yes, we do intend to.
Yeah.
What have you got for butt rub? Before I look at my phone to see what time it actually is and not what time the computer is wrong about it. You got anything for butt rub?
No.
Okay. This is going to be great. Today's topic is one where we both have it's an actual conversation.
Right.
I'm not stating a lot. I'm saying a lot, but I'm not stating a lot. I'm not referring to notes much on this one. I made one literal note and that was it. So I'm going to need you to participate. Okay?
Oh man. I thought I'm going to be out here flapping in the breeze.
Well, if that was the case, you're way overdressed for that. For your flapping in the breeze. Endeavors. Okay. The phone, I believe, says it's 3:00, so we will get started.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
There we go. I think the title of this week's episode is pretty self-explanatory. That is the question I would like to attempt to answer. Will it be answered definitively? Of course not. Is it a very subjective thing? Probably. But I had thoughts and then other thought and then the question, and so here we are. Okay. If you enjoy this, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And ring that notification bell to get updates and new content.
Just do what Daddy says. Life is so much easier. Except when he tells you to let that shit go, as his shirt says. No, I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at that.
It's Buddha that said that.
But you are the one reaffirming the message with your shirt.
True. But I did not say it.
Just saying. I don't know how.
I'm showing it.
I don't know. Yeah. Lead by example. Clearly, I'm not paying enough attention. Or I'm not easily led. I don't know which it is. I do try to let things go. Doesn't work out. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Do the things, blah, de blah. You can hit the button.
Okay.
Okay. Before we get into this week's topic, 2 announcements. One, a reminder, the 2026 Dom Sub Dynamics Virtual Summit registration is still open. The summit starts next Monday, March 23rd, runs through the 26th, is 100% free. You can attend for free. Use the link in the places if you'd like to sign up, if you'd like to learn more. We have a session on dealing with conflict in your power exchange, kind of what to do. Okay, the conflict has happened, now what? That kind of deal. There are topics like actually figuring out a protocol that will work for you. That's from Evie. When your scene goes sideways, that's from Rara. I promise you one day a scene will go sideways. I assure you it will. It 100% will. I had a panic attack during one. It was great. Yeah. And a lot of other stuff. There's a person there. I cannot think. I can see their picture on the site. Can't think of the person's name, who's talking about kink and the law. We've got disability and kink. We've got like all kinds of stuff. So check it out. If you get a free ticket, you'll have 24 hours to watch each session. You don't have to be there live to watch it. And when I say live, they're pre-recorded sessions, y'all. There will be an option to like buy a VIP pass if you've got the budget for that. That'll give you goodies and extra time to watch. But the actual summit that is actually free, you get actionable information. We were told as presenters, our presentation had to be actionable. So having a free ticket, there's value there. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, link in the places. It's March 23rd through the 26th. Registration's going on now. Sign up. Yay. Okay. Next announcement. This Friday, March, how do dates work? 20th? Is this Friday? I believe so. Today's the 18th day of recording. If I'm correct. I might not be. Anyway, Friday. It's our Friday night monthly live stream virtual munch kinky Q&A thing that we do. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, goes till 10 p.m. Eastern. This is new for this year. I keep having to remind myself of what time it starts. So if you haven't memorized it and you're confused and you're remembering, the time from years past, I get it. I can't even keep up. 8 p.m. Eastern, March 20th. It'll be chatty. It'll be chaotic. I don't know what else it'll be. Hopefully it'll be positive. I have a hair appointment to get my hair cut on Thursday, and I'm with a new person I've never been to before, but I'm going for a vibe check because they are on the Strands for Trans list. That is a list that people who do hair and have salons can put themselves on to say, hey, it is safe for trans people to come see me. Will be respectful and gender affirming and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going for the vibe check before the youngest attempts to go to get her hair done. So I don't know what this person will do to my hair yet. I might look a fool. I might just have it clipped back and not let any of you see that I have a new haircut. So that'll be a talking point. Did it come out badly? Does Kayla look crazier than usual? We'll all find out together. I don't know. So yeah. Anyway. Friday night, March 20th, if I'm getting dates right, 8 p.m. Eastern. Ta-da! Okay. So those are the announcements. Now on to the conversation that JB is always very... There's a word I want, and I'm not coming up with the word. That's going to be tough for today if I can't think of words already. Generous, though, is one of the words, is one way to describe it. Of like, I'll have a random thought, and I'll be like, hey, do you think we could talk about this? And he's like, sure, why not? So, can you be spontaneous in kink? So, let me tell you where this topic came from, okay? And then we'll get into it. Let me tell you what went on in my brain and the 85 connections I made to get here. So, I've been having a lot of thoughts intermittently recently about things I wish JB would just like do to me. Like, are all within our limits, are things that we have done in the past, are ways of being that 100% fit within our power exchange and our preferences and our limits, all of that, okay? And obviously the answer is I just need to sit down and have a conversation with him and go, hey, I've been craving some of this stuff. It'd be great if you could do it. Duh.
First I'm hearing about any of this.
Right, because I'm trying to take you on a journey of the point. I am attempting to not give you all the side adventures this train of thought went on, okay? So, that's where it started. And then I thought, yeah, I need to have that conversation. That's and then I went, but no, maybe that's not how would that work for JB? Because it will depend on my mindset. It will depend on how the day has been. It will depend on how many thoughts are already in my brain, and can I make the quick switch mid-thought to, we're doing this now. And how does he narrow down which spontaneous thing to do to me? Because it will all depend on the vibe, and I don't expect him to be a mind reader. So how can I ask him, hey, do these things, and kind of just do them, because there's no way he could just do them and be right enough of the time to make it worth the risk. So then it's like, okay, well then we'd have to have the conversation, and that would not be a problem. I'm fine with conversations, but then it's not like just happening. it's a little bit pre-planned. And I was like, that's not awful, but it does take away some of the, sometimes I just want to be pinned the fuck down. And I don't necessarily want to have to ask explicitly to be pinned the fuck down. But then I had the thought again of, but that's not fair to JB. He cannot read my mind.
Mm-mm.
He's gonna check in because he needs to. That's responsible, you know, fuckery. So then I got to the end of, is spontaneity an option? Now, let's be clear. Spontaneity is always an option. Is it a good one? Is it a responsible one? Is it going to end well? That's really the conversation. That's where all this came from. Because, yeah, I've been having thoughts and feelings that I haven't mentioned to you.
So I see we have to go sit down and have a cup of coffee soon, huh?
Something like that. Something like that.
All right.
So now, before we get into it, because I definitely want to know your thoughts on this. Okay. And you know me, I have rambling thoughts too.
Sure.
I did do a quick check of, do I understand what spontaneity and spontaneous mean? I went to Merriam-Webster. And they had a list of different, because a word can mean many things and there's nuance, whatever. But in terms of what we're talking about, they had two that fit my way of thinking of what spontaneous was. So I used them. Proceeding from a natural feeling or native tendency without external constraint, and arising from a momentary impulse. So lack of constraint.
Yep.
Impulsiveness. So that's the question.
Okay.
And a pre-caveat. Whatever we maybe come up with for ourselves, that's individual choices, and individuals can make their own choices and and you can answer this question for yourself in whatever way you need to. Okay? Just know that. We're not trying to answer like, you know, Kink God on high, you know, here's the decree, put it in stone or something. Like, you're not the kinky Moses. I mean, you could be if you want to. Your role play is not my role play, but your role play is okay. But, you know. Anyway, what do you think of this? All of this.
All of it?
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's not been scripted out, so I can't.
Are you fucking kidding me? She said submissively. For anyone new, yeah, I promise I'm the submissive. So, my thought is, at least for me as an individual, as much as I might kind of think, or in a moment, be like, ooh, if this spontaneously happened, if this just happened right now, this would be great. I know in real practice that can't happen, because it probably would not work. It would probably not work as often as it wouldn't work. Like it would, you know what I mean? Am I saying right?
I believe I can say this because we have been together for a while now. Okay. You do not have a spontaneous bone in your body.
I do cosplay it. I will come up, I will mention a thing that sounds spontaneous. Like, oh, we should go do this. JB, it took him a few years to figure out that I will have been thinking about it, planning it, and figuring it out at minimum a day. Yeah, I just make it sound like I'm spontaneous.
Yeah, there is no spontaneous bone in your body.
No. I wish there was. I have urges that I wish could just be handled spontaneously.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, this would be a great time to just bend me over and do the thing. Now, do the thing, here's the thing, do the thing is what I'm imagining it to be, not necessarily what you might imagine it to be, you know?
True.
Which is why, in general, we don't just tell a dom they can just do anything, because their idea of anything and our idea of anything will probably be completely different. But sometimes it'll just be just enough different. Like if I told you, oh yeah, I have no problem if you know, we're in the bedroom and you see me, if you just, OBS is being weird. For podcast listeners, this won't affect you, but I don't know what it's done to YouTube. So...
Apparently we're back.
Okay, good.
And I don't know. Can't explain that one.
Yeah, and my worry is I've just lost my train of thought. No, but my point is that, you know, even if I say the words and you go, yes, I know what those words mean, the way you are going to do the thing will not necessarily mirror how I imagine it being done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did have a conversation that's not about spontaneity, but it is about talking about scenes and stuff.
Right.
We're modifying and updating the treats I earn when I actually remember to open the app and actually remember the obedience app and actually remember to tick off the things I've done. Anyway, one of them is, trying to do some new behaviors, and one was like, if you do this thing all week, you get impact play by the end of the week. And I made sure to negotiate impact play that's impact that I enjoy and it's a sensation I enjoy. And so that was an important clarification. Bless you. That was an important clarification to make in negotiations. So you can see where if we were to have the conversation ahead of time about, hey, if I want you to spontaneously do something, meaning spontaneous to JB, right? Or spontaneous to me, like I did not know it was coming, only that it could be coming. These are the exact parameters I think I could accept it in, and then it doesn't really feel spontaneous anymore. So the easy answer for me is no, I don't think I can be spontaneous in kink. The general, is spontaneity something to recommend? Is it something that, whatever? But we know how I am, not a spontaneous bone in my body. You, not talking about how you deal with me, we know that you if there was another blank space person who was not me, who did have a spontaneous bone in their body, that pretend person, what would JB do?
I have it in me to be spontaneous, I believe.
What is spontaneous, do you think? What does that look like to you? Give me an example. Like, you can use me as the example. We know it probably won't ever happen, but you could use me as the example. What would that look like to you?
Well, for example, look at this. I'm going for a cup of coffee right now.
No, that's not a good kind of spot. See, this is why I think that spontaneity and kink is hard, because the idea you're having is complete 180 from what I'm having.
Okay.
Right. But if we want to do a thing we both might enjoy.
Now here's what I'll say about my thought, because I've been kind of noodling on this since you brought it up. Do I think spontaneity is possible in kink? Yes. With a caveat. I don't think if you and I just walked into a dungeon, never knew each other, just met.
Right.
Okay, it'd be hard to be spontaneous.
Here's the thing. I think part of what makes this a kind of a no for almost anybody in many situations, probably not all, is that in order for kink to be risk-aware and enthusiastically consented to, there has to be a conversation that plans what the hell you're allowed to do, I'm allowed to do, we're going to do together.
Now,
so you're working within a framework that doesn't allow for spontaneity anyway.
Well, and here's what I believe could be the caveat to that. How many years have we been together?
Oh, don't make me do math, but it's over a decade.
Okay. So, if I know, because we have been together for so long, and I know what you like, what you don't like, okay, and I just decided we're going to do a scene right now, and I keep it within the parameters of everything we have negotiated, it's the timing
is what's spontaneous. But here's my question, because somebody asked in the live chat, but what about the free use people? And this is my thought went to that and is going to this.
Okay.
Are you not standing back and assessing the situation? Have you not thought, do we have time for this? Is this an appropriate place? Does she look like she's going to punch me if I do this, or go with it? Right? Like, is there not and minimum a momentary pause to take a look around at the situation and decipher for yourself, is now the right time for this? And if now is not the right time, when might the right time be? So free use, you've consented to when you want, do whatever the thing is we've consented to. But when you want, as a responsible kinkster, it's not always exactly when you impulsively want it, because I'm sorry, what if you pretend you had a big boy job again, right? And you're on the drive home and you're like, oh, when I get home, I'm bending her over and fucking her. It's going to be amazing. But when you walk in the door, I am being violently ill. Well, clearly that idea has to be backburnered. So the spontaneity of it is gone because context clues tell you this is not the right time.
True.
So therefore, if the first stage of doing what you want because you've got the permission and you've got the framework because of the negotiated boundaries, if the first step is to go, is this a good time? And you have to put more than about 2 seconds of thought into it. And with me, 100% you do. You better have your aluminum tinfoil hat on, your weather vane up, not in a stormy day, and be like testing the winds, right? Is that truly spontaneous? Is that possible?
Kind of muddies the water, doesn't it?
I know, it's not a simple thing.
No.
I think that there are people who live fairly impulsively and spontaneously who are like, yes, we could 100% do this. And I could be pedantic and be like, but what about that pause, blah, blah. I'm not, I'm more thinking of it in broader terms. Again, I think individuals can decide for themselves. But if I'm going to be like little Miss Know-it-all about it, I'm going to, these are the things that come to mind. Because a responsible top or dom is going to assess the situation first. Well, you have to, don't you?
You have to. I mean, even if there's free use, you have to assess the situation. That's a
right.
That's
exactly.
a given.
That's my point. That is my point. Yeah. So, is it possible
to truly be spontaneous
in the way it's defined? Like, because we can semantics, right? I have thoughts about a way to feel spontaneous, even if it doesn't meet the definition.
Certain aspects, I think, can. And what I'm going to use this based on what I have seen or heard other people talk about. It's not something we have done ourselves, but C&C.
Consensual non-consent, yeah.
Okay. Say someone may have a kidnapping fantasy. Okay. Now, obviously with that, you have to negotiate.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
Right? That's a given. But then, what if, in all this, you negotiated this, okay, this is how we're going to capture you, this is what we're going to do, and blah, 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 blah.
So when this happens, you're not actually being kidnapped.
Right.
Right.
But then, what if then the spontaneity comes in with not knowing when it's going to happen?
This goes to what Rara was saying in the live chat, which is for the sub/bottom, it's spontaneous, but for the dom/top, it's in no way spontaneous because you have planned.
Right.
And here's the other thing I think you get around where things can feel spontaneous. My brain keeps wanting to say spontaneity when I mean spontaneous. It can feel spontaneous, and it genuinely isn't, but my God, Kinksters, we mind fuck ourselves all the time, right? I mean, come on. I know that outside of the walls of our relationship, I'm like an independent fucking bitch from hell, and to you, I am mostly a sweetheart and will do whatever you tell me to. Like, we live within frameworks, right?
You know, it's funny, now you mention that, I had a dream last night that I had to explain to somebody why I call you the Scorpio bitch from hell.
Oh, they couldn't have possibly ever been around me then. No, they couldn't. In that dream, they had never been around me. Oops, sorry, I tapped the mic. So here's what I'm thinking. I think spontaneity, or the perception of spontaneity, is possible. It is it's frameworks within frameworks. So you've already got the negotiated, here's what we do, here's how we are, here's what I like, here's what you like, here are the limits. Like the stuff you figure out. You do the big conversations in the beginning, but you add to it and figure it out and modify it and perfect it and, adjust it as you go through the relationship. Then, if there's a conversation about, hey, could we add spontaneity to this? How would this work? What might that look like? Then you're dealing with a framework within the framework of, okay, me as the sub, who is an anxious bitch from hell, whose mind is never on the thing I'm doing, it's 10 miles away on 5 other things, who takes too much of the world way too literally, like it's too much going on. I would need to have a conversation with you that says, hey, I am down for the appearance of spontaneity. Here is what I think I would be okay with. Here are, you know, maybe let's use, oh my God, I can't think of the word. Let's use cues like words or a check-in question to test my headspace and can I get where you need me to be? And here's maybe the list of things that if they happen to me at a time I'm not necessarily expecting them, it'll probably be okay. And then we go back to the thing where it looks spontaneous for me, but it clearly is less spontaneous for you. Not because you might not make, not a split-second decision, but a quick decision where you've scanned the room, you've asked me the question, or done the check-in to see where my head's at, and then you're like, okay, I can proceed. And then you're pulling from a drop-down menu of options. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it can be built in, but then once you build it in, you have to kind of go, I'm not going to be too precious about the word spontaneous because this is...
At that point, then it's not...
Right. Yeah. And I have a feeling that many, not all, obviously, like people who do CNC and free use and stuff like that, because we've done that episode. We have a type of free use. That's a little bit of what you're doing is these are the things I can allow. Here are the things you have permission for ahead of time. You don't have to ask me.
Right.
Right. Here, you've built it in. Like this box... Sorry, podcast listeners, you can't see it. This box is the relationship. This smaller box on the inside is this type of situation. Gotcha. But again, if we're gonna be, know it all, like I was 20, 30, 40 years ago, it's not technically spontaneity. Yeah. And my concern for many, maybe not all, but many people who try to be actually spontaneous, impulsively choose, just do it in the moment, just don't think, just act. Oh, we've got too many possibilities for consent violations and overstepping limits and it being the wrong time. And, I'm not going to be the person who goes, oh yeah, be spontaneous. Just do the thing. You saw your sub there and they were just looking all good. Just do the thing. Be careful of that because it is easy to fuck it up. Yeah. It's why I didn't want to come to you and go, okay, I'm having these parts of my brain that are like, I could really use this treatment and this treatment and this treatment. And I kind of don't want to have to plan for it. And sometimes I just need it to fucking happen. That would be great. But also it's not fair to you to have to try to decipher and guess where the hell my mind is and what I will and won't accept in a given moment. Yeah. That's not fair. So I answered my own question for myself before we even started of I cannot be spontaneous.
No.
Now, if we were to figure out that air quote spontaneous framework, is that something that you would want with me or anybody? Like just as a generic question, is that kind of freedom?
To a certain extent, yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like it allows more room for some play. Not play, because all of it can be play, but playfulness and a sort of the moment feels right. Let's, let's pretend that we can do whatever we want.
That's one of those things when all the, I would say it, all the cards come together. So to speak, everything's the planets are in alignment,
right? Which,
so, the planets are in alignment. Come on, let's grab the toy bag and go to the dungeon now.
Sure, yeah, exactly. And I think that's where the spontaneity ends, though, because then you're like, okay, here are the toys, the limits. I know you. Where's your headspace at? What's good? What feels good? What are Yeah. Or you're gonna start and I'm gonna go, nope. Like you went to pinch nipples this morning, and I went, no. The brain was like, you don't want that. You don't want that this morning.
I never saw somebody back away so fast as you did that right in that moment.
Well, and I was thinking about, because this has nothing to do with spontaneity, and maybe it does, because you spontaneously reached out and went, oh, nipples, and like, we're doing a thing.
Right.
So, hoping the 16-year-old is not on the other side of that wall. Anyway. Anyway. So that is a form of spontaneity that you then had to be okay with me going, no, thank you. But
and then what about all the times I walk by you and I just smack you?
You know what, though? You have made that a habit, and now I expect it, and I get a little annoyed when I do not get it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not the one in charge here. But you do something often enough. Is it spontaneous, or is it now just a habit and a pattern and a routine? And you know how I feel about routines. Don't fuck those up. And yet, spontaneously, see, you can get real granular with this. Spontaneously, you will do a different intensity. The last time you walked by me and smacked my ass, that shit hurt. I was like, are you mad at me? I wasn't mad about it, but I was surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all, there's the walk by as he smacked, flat of your hand, and then the one that hurts, you come with the back of your hand with the fingers.
I'm so glad you don't wear rings. Oh my God. So that's just proof that there is room for some spontaneity. I think it does come down to how long you've been together, how well you know one another.
I think
the comfort level.
You can definitely be spontaneous in the time. Okay. And I think with the what. Because we have our, for us, the toys that we know, and I know what I can cycle through, and how I can play them with you, and how I can even work in some of the things that you don't technically like, but we can squeeze it in. So there kind of lies the spontaneity. There have been times I have gone into the bedroom and set things out on the bed for you.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And you see these items like, oh shit, what's he got planned? But then there's a time, I'll just grab something and
I'll be bent over the bed waiting, and you're like, don't move. Not a problem. Wasn't going anywhere. And next thing I know, So in those moments, is that a spontaneous thing of like, I've got an urge, I want to go get this toy, that toy, I want to do, instead of whatever you were going to do?
There are many times my brain's spinning.
Sure.
Thinking about, things we can do. And sometimes it's just like,
I have an urge and I'm going to just do it. And, I think that to me, I don't like to say all, nothing's universal, but I think in many cases, that is where the spontaneity lies, is in the knowing each other's boundaries, limits, wants, needs, likes, dislikes well enough that you stay within that framework. So, the me bending over the bed before we go to bed, that's not spontaneous. That is planned. That is a routine. That is how we do things. What you do in that moment with that moment is where then you can be spontaneous and just make a decision. Now, it is then, as always, my responsibility on the other side to let you know immediately if that was not a good choice.
Exactly. and that's something too, you can jump into the, spontaneity, but it does not relieve you of, your duties of, taking care of your toys and
also being very comfortable with being told, hearing a safe word or red or no or stop or whatever. Like knowing that this spontaneous idea you had might be rejected immediately. Correct. Now, here's the thing that I try to believe that does not affect me.
Okay.
And yet, in all of this thought meandering I've been doing, it still does. Here's the thing. I want for you to be, to the extent you want to be, more spontaneous within some sort of designated framework, like we're talking about. Sure. Pre-negotiate, here's some things, here's my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. I want that. And yet I know myself well enough to know that you could be going through the whole mental checklist and everything checks off, and you try and it doesn't work. And I know you're like, you're a fucking adult. You'd be like, okay, it didn't work. The submissive part of me that knows that we talked about this and I've agreed to some semblance of this and that there are times that I do want it in a moment where I don't want it. Like it was just the wrong moment or a bad day or my head wasn't in it. There is guilt that should not be there. You've never made me feel guilty. It is all internal to me. Who doesn't want to tell you, no, don't do that. Will I? Yes, because I have all these 13, if I'm doing math, 13 years, I've trained myself to do it. But I don't like it, right? Like I want that sort of fantasy version in my head of where, sure, you've got a checklist you can do, and I might not know it's coming, but I know it could be coming, and I've already agreed to these things, and it's just going to go off without a hitch, and I will be able to switch my brain over from whatever the hell it was doing to where we are right now.
Right.
And I want that to be true, and that's who I want to be.
But the reality of it,
I'm honest enough to know, I'm self-reflective enough to know that is a hard, I think it would take practice, because I have a feeling it would have to become something that I got, in a way, kind of got used to. Not used to like a schedule.
that it was something that could happen.
You'd have to have a tell. I think there would, because I'd have to have a way where I could manually switch my brain to another. Okay, podcast listeners, you don't see him picking up his water bottle. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I cannot remember under what context. Yeah. We are old people now, and the way we signal that there will be some fucking and probably fuckery to go with the fucking is JB brings the water bottle into the bedroom because we need a sip of water after that.
It came about after that reel you sent
about
me.
how old people seduce one another.
They all everybody was talking about their different tells, and I was like, "What's our tell?"
My husband turns on the heated blanket, and I know I'm gonna get some.
Right.
Ours is the water bottle, and that does work. And you know what? When I see the water bottle, I get a little like. You brought the water bottle in the other night, and I thought for sure I was going to get dicked down. I mean, what we did was good, but there was no dicking down, and I was like, oh, because I did have that little thrill. So that goes back to it. If you have to create, and again, not everybody would need this. We're all different, but if you have to create a signal so I can switch my brain, is it spontaneous? Even for me now at that point? Because if we go on the principle that it is spontaneous for the sub or the bottom, but not for the dom or the top, the moment I have a cue that lets me know something's coming, am I living in that spontaneous moment now?
But you don't know when you're going to see me pick that up and walk to the bedroom.
True. That is true. That is true. And I don't quite know, I would not quite know what is going to happen on the other side of that, other than whatever we have previously discussed. Right. Now I can tell you the things that I had the thought, man, I wish this could be more spontaneous. I could have this experience spontaneously. It is the stuff that I like, the sensation, the experience. And so then that would 100% take the spontaneity out for you, because you like those things, but you like other things more. You are seeking different reactions from me than, like, when I get thud and deep tissue massage sensation, that's a different response than stingy, burning, I'm dying over here, right? And so then if I come to you and go, yeah, I want you to spontaneously do shit, here's the list, and it's all within my very specific parameters of what I love, which is not necessarily what you love. Is it spontaneous?
As spontaneous.
Because you're not even getting to choose exactly what it is based on your preferences. You see what I'm saying? And to not be spontaneous is not a bad thing. I like the fact that one of the things I like about kink is that you have direct, deep conversations, and you say what the hell you mean, and you mean what you say, and you plan shit out, and then the dom takes it away from it. I fucking like that. So I'm not complaining if it's not spontaneous, but I am wondering, is it at that point? Like, what is it?
At that point, I think the spontaneity then comes in where, okay, we have 8 toys that give thud that you like. So then I have 8 toys to choose from that you have no idea what I'm going to choose. Okay? So there...
Right.
I think that's as close as you can get in some of the...
For folks who don't have a spontaneous bone in our body, yes. So, who was it? Tasty in the live chat did say, it's important to point out not everybody plans out their day as much as Kayla or my wife.
That is
Tasty
true.
was talking about his wife. Some people are chaos creatures and can be spontaneous. But here's my question, and I don't have the answer because I'm not spontaneous, but I want our chaos gremlins out there to think about this for yourself. Is it risk-aware, consensual kink? Can that be done? Can you be that spontaneous within the confines of kink? Or are you only able to be spontaneous after you've done some kind of setup, so there's parameters to live within and define the spontaneity in that? And my chaos gremlins out there who live spontaneously, I can't imagine it, but I'm happy for you. Do you still take that moment to assess the situation and get context of, is my partner bent over puking right now? And maybe this isn't a good time? Or is it you don't necessarily pay attention to the context clues and go barreling in? And how does that work out for you? Because I imagine it probably most of the time would work fine, but then there would be times it would not work fine.
But that's like anything.
I know.
Nothing is ever 100%.
Of course not. But the thing about having, I'm going to keep calling it framework. Somebody started a drinking game. The framework of what you know, the boundaries, the fence line of what you know is allowed, whether that is just somebody's limits and boundaries and this and that, you're working within something that is not spontaneous, which I think does give you the freedom to be more spontaneous.
All right, I'm going to use this as kind of an example. Okay, because we've talked about how you can be spontaneous within
the parameters.
The parameters of kink.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go out to eat.
Okay.
Okay? I'm going to go out to eat. Where am I going to go? I'm not going to go to some place I don't like.
Right.
Okay? Or food that
Right.
I have my favorite restaurants that...
Sure.
And I'm going to pick from one of those.
Unless you truly are a very spontaneous person who will just walk in wherever.
And then you can just walk. True.
Y'all, you're living a life I can't imagine, and I'm very happy for you, but I cannot imagine it. I'm just not that person. Yeah. I'm just not that person.
Okay. So, you're still acting spontaneously, but again, within certain parameters.
And that's the thing, I don't think I made my point. You're like, yes, that, nothing is ever 100%. So if somebody spontaneously just barrels in and does not take the second to go, wait, what is the context here? Is this the right moment? They just barrel through with whatever the thought was and they go forth. Yeah. And that sometimes it will not work out. Here's the thing. Part of the reason we create the parameters within kink and we have the negotiations, we go, here's the hard limits and here's the boundaries and here's the things I want and here's the things I like and here's the things I don't like and blah, 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 blah. And we create our Venn diagram of you and me is to reduce the chance that something is going to go wrong. Yeah,
true.
Things will always go wrong. That's why we talk about be prepared for even the best planned scene to fuck up.
Murphy will raise his head.
But that's because there was planning ahead of time and we know it's coming. I don't have concrete thoughts on this because I'm not a spontaneous person. But for somebody who feels like, no, I'm a spontaneous person and I just sort of barrel through in certain situations, that is what I'm wondering about. Does it feel like you're being spontaneous because you have the parameters already in place? Or are there folks out there who tried to barrel through spontaneously in kink without clear parameters or knowing those parameters really, really well? And, how is that working out? Because from my viewpoint, I can't imagine it because I'm not wired like that. It's never going to be my experience. I would be freaking the fuck out if you were the type of partner who didn't at least a little bit go, let me think this through real quick. You know what I mean? And I don't want to assume that spontaneous people don't think things through. But I do know what impulsivity looks like. Raised two teenagers, have strange random moments of impulsivity myself. And my experience with impulsivity, especially the kind that I didn't really want, you know, the moment I got the dopamine hit of the impulsivity, the moment that faded, I was like, that is not what I wanted, right? That's the thing. The few times in my life that I've ever just barreled through and didn't stop to think and didn't stop to catch my breath and went, I have thought now, it did not end well. And so I'm curious about people who live their life differently, follow their impulses differently. Are we still, like, does it work in kink as long as you just are following the basic rules of kink, that there are negotiated bounds and you're just staying within those? And does that then, especially for a spontaneous person, but maybe for people like me who are not spontaneous, does it give you more freedom to be spontaneous? Because you know the rules, the guidelines, the fence, the box, call it whatever you want, the thing all that's already been decided, and now you have freedom to move within that. But then I would say, if you yourself are an impulsive or spontaneous person and your partner is not, y'all are both going to have to learn how to navigate that. Because if you were impulsive and you came at me impulsively, until I learned how to deal with that, or I got used to it, or you and I found our balance, that would freak me the fuck out. I married an impulsive person who every impulsive choice he ever made was wrong. It was very stressful. So I'm also in that way keyed up to not like it as much, to be very wary of impulsivity. But I do think that with trust and time, you and I could adjust to one another. You would go, I've got the impulse, but I better send up the flare, use my cue word, do a check-in. You know, we temper each other. The more we learn about one another and we want things to work for both of us and for both of us to be happy, the more we together adjust. Right. You know what I mean? So I don't want it to make it sound like I just can't imagine impulsive people. Like, that's not what I mean. I'm just curious because I can't imagine it. Because I am like whatever the polar opposite is from impulsive and spontaneous. That's me.
She's probably already got tomorrow all planned out.
If I could, and if I thought the world would just let me keep my fucking plan, and if my brain would cooperate with the plan I set on Wednesday for Thursday, if I could wake up on Thursday and have Wednesday's brain that made that plan, working that plan, life would be pretty fucking good. I'd be so happy. I'd have almost no stress.
I'd drive her nuts sometimes because she'd ask me, what do you have planned for today? Work.
I don't know how you function. I know people do. I know more than you do. You just more people than you, JB, do. My brain cannot comprehend it. Like I was like, I don't know how. I can't envision it. Now, Taishu says that impulsivity and spontaneity have overlap, but they're two different animals. And I think you're right. I was referring impulsivity to the definition from Merriam-Webster, arising from a momentary impulse, proceeding from a natural feeling or native tendency without external constraint. I'd have to look up what impulsivity means to get its like nitty gritty. And there is 100% impulsivity that can be dangerous. I married it and it did not end well. It did not end well. Yeah. But, our spontaneous people who know enough, who have better control over their impulsivity, and they turn it into spontaneity. Because that's spontaneity is spontaneity more responsible than impulsivity? Is it semantics and somebody who is spontaneous calls themselves impulsive, somebody who's impulsive calls themselves spontaneous? I don't fucking know. That is not my journey to walk in life.
You're making my brain hurt now.
We're almost getting to the point where we go, what is the definition of is? What is? You can get too far in the weeds of these, and I nerd out over that. I like the semantics of it. It's a little bit like I'm doing I'm walking a maze, and I'm like, ooh, I see another way to go because did you think of this thing? And So yeah, I'm and then I find it even more interesting and I think there'll be something to say in this when I get to this. I keep saying this, and I'm not trying to edge you with this information, but I'm working on the neurodivergent series.
Correct.
And, understanding a little bit more about folks who are autistic, who tend to, not always, not universally, tend to prefer plans or routines or knowing what's going to happen, right? Versus some, but not all people with ADHD, who part of it is the impulsivity and I just fucking do shit sometimes. And then, God help us, and I'm including myself in this, even though it's a self-diagnosis, when you have fucking both. Because you have two kind of polar opposites fighting against one another.
Yeah.
And may the odds be ever in your favor of which one you're going to get that day. But so my point to that is to say that I have not confirmed it and I saved it, so I don't remember exactly where the number came from. But there is a thought that while neurodivergent make up just a 2 to 3 to 5, whatever percentage of the population, although it is probably higher than that because people get missed in diagnoses and all that. In the kink world, neurodivergence, I want to say it was anywhere from 30 to 50% of people tend to be kinkier within the kink community. And part of that is because there's a lot of communication and there's a lot of frameworks. And for people who want to know what the fuck is supposed to happen and they don't want to have to guess at what they're supposed to do, that's a good thing that works well for those kinds of minds. And then I think about those who are a little bit impulsive, those who do just go for the dopamine rush. Does it sometimes bite them in the ass, or does it just take a learning process of learning how to move within, again, the parameters to still have that experience?
And see, this is just me, at least I think it's just me. For whatever reason, I have always looked at being impulsive or impulsivity more in a negative connotation.
I think it's because impulsivity can lead to negative outcomes. Spontaneity can, but spontaneity is the fun cousin. Spontaneity says, hey, I'm the fun one who decided we just go on this trip, and I just told you right now. To somebody who is not spontaneous, though, I'm not in a good mood about that. Wait, I had plans and I had mapped my day out, and who's going to take care of this? And did you think of all these things? And you know what I mean? So I'm the Debbie Downer who's going to say even spontaneity is not necessarily a positive. But I agree with you. Impulsivity absolutely is seen as you make terrible decisions without thinking about them. Where spontaneous is I'm the fun aunt who's going to take you to Disney World this weekend. Just get in the car and let's go.
Yeah.
But those of us who are worriers and planners and need to know what's going to happen next do have questions before you spontaneous people do your thing. Who's feeding the dog? Who's taking care of the cats? How are we going to get the chores done? We had plans for this weekend. When will we get those done? Look, I'm an efficient bitch who gets stuff done, but I will bring the vibe down.
Oh my!
I have had in my life one surprise birthday party, and my friend at the time planned it with my parents because she wanted it to be truly a surprise, and I figured it out hours before, but day of, because there was too much. Hey, let's go do this now. And I had too many fucking questions. Also, pattern recognition. I was like, none of this is normal. Y'all are doing weird shit. This is blah, blah, blah. I figured it out. Thank God, because if that had felt like a thing that just happened to me, I'd have lost my mind and nobody would have had a good time. I am so unfun sometimes. I know who I am. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, ultimately, I think, of course, yes, there can be spontaneity in kink. I do think it comes down to who you are as a person, your comfort level, what you need to feel safe and good within kink. And also it has to do with how you do it. It's a little bit like, I don't know if this is the right analogy. I might change my mind mid-sentence. So Dom's having control and power. It only lasts while you have consent. So you don't have true total power, right? It is a little bit of a mirage because it can be broken at any time. It is through the consent of both parties. One person takes away consent, it shatters, right? I wonder if spontaneousness in kink is kind of the same way. It looks spontaneous, and to at least 50% of the situation, it might feel spontaneous, but it's really a mirage because there's been planning and there's been forethought and there's been a careful calculation of how do I think this is going to go? Is it going to, am I about to like break my whole relationship because I done fucked up? You know what I mean? Like, am I staying within the bounds, right? The safe lines of what I'm allowed to do.
Right.
And so I wonder if that's what it is. It goes back to what Rara said at the very beginning, which is for the big D side, it's not spontaneous. For the little S side, it might feel spontaneous.
Yeah.
And again, that's then just mirage is the word I keep coming up with, but I know there's a better word and I can't think of what it is. It's not definitionally actually spontaneity, but as long as it feels like it, and you have, then that's fine. Like, it's, who cares? Because then it's semantics at that point. It's me going, well, actually, let me open up the dictionary. I am so fun. I'm not going to actually anybody on that because I get it. Because even I, the most non-spontaneous, whatever the word is, no to spontaneity, have cravings where I'm like, man, I do wish this would just kind of come out of nowhere to me. Except I'm realistic enough to know you think that today because you want it right now. But in 2 days, if you get it, you might elbow check him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway.
Anywho's?
Any final thoughts?
No.
Yeah. Of course there is. Not for me.
Yeah.
But if you can manage it, yeah, just don't get too precious about the definition of the word spontaneous. And truly be careful, because full impulsivity, calling yourself spontaneous, but there's been no negotiation, there's been no agreement, there's no plan in place within kink, that's so fucking dangerous. Now, do you actually have consent for anything you're about to do? Of course not. I think it has to work within the bounds of what a kink relationship between people has been decided it is, and what you do and what you don't do within those bounds. Also, if you have a partner who's like, do not do shit spontaneously with me, that is a hard limit. You got to respect that shit.
Well, that's true, yeah.
And then decide, are y'all compatible? I don't know. I'm trying to imagine if you were spontaneous, or if you were impulsive the way I think of the word impulsive, we would not be together. I would have noped out very early on, because there was too much baggage there. But spontaneous in the way that it's like meant to be, of like, this is actually supposed to be fun, I probably could have gotten used to it, because all your other good traits and the things I love about you would still, have been there. So, but I think there would have been a lot more navigating. I think there would have been a lot more misunderstandings before we figured out what worked.
True.
So that's just what I'm saying there. Anyway.
Anywho. Yep.
That's all I got.
Okay. So, are we good?
I have no fucking clue.
Keep it kinky, y'all.
And we'll see you on Friday.
Yeah.
Dottie.
Yes, baby girl.
Can we talk to the crickets?
Sure.
But not too much, because we have to have like stuff to talk about.
That's true.
Hopefully we're not laughing at my sad haircut. I get very nervous going to a new person, because you don't know them. You don't know them. You don't know what they're like. And this person is on Instagram, but not like, there's not video, so of them talking, as pictures.
Yeah.
And so Lola agrees in the background. Whoo, she's very sad. Oh yeah, she's been abandoned. Nobody loves her anymore. She is alone and lost in the world. And by the world, I mean our couch. We are a little worried that her eye that we just got cleared up a few weeks ago from the ulcers and infection is happening again, which the ophthalmologist had said if her eye goes into this cycle of needing antibiotics, clearing up, needing antibiotics, clearing up, that means that she will need surgery. I need surgery for Lola to hold out until early next year, when then I have some surgery funds for Lola. Just like I need surgery for Ella to hold out till early next year. But Ella is still peeing on everything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want Ella to be miserable or in pain or uncomfortable.
No.
But if she is peeing on everything, I want it to be because she is uncomfortable and not because she's a little bitch that now has bad habits. Like,
Yeah.
if it's happening, I can be very forgiving of you don't feel good. And so this is a result of that. I hate it. I want to help you. I want to help us. But if it's just like I know I could use the litter box. I just don't fucking feel like it.
Yeah.
It's hard to be sympathetic and understanding and kind. JB watched Ella pee on something the other day. I don't remember what. I just remember you being
I was
very annoyed.
I was sitting in the back room.
And she just peed on the corner again.
And I was sitting there doing stuff on the computer, and I turn around and I see her walking in. She walks all the way to the far corner. She looks at me, squats down.
And so JB, rightfully so, was pissed. Now, JB and I handle our anger differently. I, being who I am, y'all know, I try to only say exactly what I mean. JB can be a little bombastic. I think it's the Italian in him. He's like, what the fuck? You're right. So he's like, that goddamn cat. And I'm like, and I can't remember exactly what you said, but my response was, and what do you propose we do with her? Like, what is the solution? And then he didn't want to talk to me anymore. Because I was like, well, let's be solution focused. And he was like, I just want to be mad right now. Just let me be mad. I remember they were going, no, I don't like that. If you're going to be mad, take us somewhere else. Because I'm going to be looking for solutions. And I don't think there is a solution right now.
No, I know.
And I know you know that, but it was funny.
It's the frustration.
I know. And yeah, it's probably healthier that you let your frustration show. And I just sort of, I'm constantly loosening my jaw. My jaw just sort of stays clenched. And I don't realize, I don't even think about it. There's a creator, I see on Instagram. I'm sure he's on TikTok. And he's got a whole thing about, he's currently a stay-at-home dad, 6-month-old, 2.5, 3-year-old, like little, like 2 under, like very young children. And so he'll be showing his day about how he's cleaning this up or he's doing that or he's working on this or whatever. And then so usually about twice in his video, he'll go, unclench your jaw. You're not in trouble. Nobody's mad at you. And every time he says unclench your jaw, I just relax my jaw. I'm like, oh yeah, thank you. I should follow. I should follow you, like, so I could get this advice every day. Yes, unclench your jaw. I can report that Onyx let me pick her up and hold her for about 2 seconds this morning. Yeah. So when I want Onyx to move from wherever she is, it typically is when I'm making the bed, which was the situation this morning, or when she's sitting in my seat at the dining room table, I just put my hands near her torso as if I'm going to lift her, and she takes off like a shot. She don't like that shit. She's on the bed this morning, and she had been on the bed with me while I was laying in bed. I did not want to get out of the bed. It was too cold. I was too cozy. I stayed there way longer than usual. And she, like, was all on me. She was purring. She let me pet her. She was a little bit cuddly to the extent that Onyx can be cuddly, which, same girl. But I finally got up, and I make the bed in the morning before I start my day. It's like the very first thing I do. And she's in the middle just lounging. And I'm like, girl, this cover is, I gotta straighten it. I cannot have a lumpy cover. We gotta fix this. So I figure I'll put my hands out to her. She's facing me. This was not behind her. Put my hands towards her torso as if I was going to pick her up, and she'd dart away, because that's what she does. She did not dart away. And so I was like, this is the great experiment. And I let my hands come around her. Oh, she was so soft and warm. And then I started actually picking her up, and she allowed it. She was confused, but she allowed it. And it was when I went to draw her in, she was fucking done. She was done, and she was gone. And I let her go. Like, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
Consent fucking matters. But I got to hold her for like a whole, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So, that was a highlight of my day. Anything else you got going on?
Most of the stuff I want to talk about is saved for Friday, but
yeah. You've been bringing me product.
Yeah, I've been very busy. Very busy in the shop.
Silent says, find me a Gen X that doesn't have a sore jaw or sore shoulders. Guess what? I have both. And a sore spot down, not my neck, but just below my neck where there's that muscle that every time a doctor touches it, they go, oh my God, that's tight. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
I've just been keeping busy doing stuff around the house and working, making stuff.
Yeah, I've been doing exactly what needs to get done and then struggling to do above and beyond stuff. I did figure out what was slowing me down in the research part for the neurodivergent series I want to do. The book I was going through and reading to get some greater understanding. I did not enjoy the book. And I understand that a different person with a different brain would go, well, just start another one. Just either don't finish it or come back to that later and start another one. That's not how I operate. I started that book. I have to finish that book before I can start the other one.
Damn well gonna finish that book.
And that's not universally true. One of the books I got, I truly did skim it because I knew within like the first page, I was like, this is not written in a way that I can read it. It's not happening. So I did just skim it for like the highlights. I knew what I was looking for and I wanted to get that information. But this, the other books I've got are books I also want to read for me. For my personal benefit. Yeah. So. Anyway. No, Silent. I have not read Katie O'Source's book. I've not. Is her book still on pre-order or is it out? But the books I have are from the library. So our library is probably not going to be quick to get that one.
Yeah.
I actually had to read the physical books because I could not get the ebook through the Libby app through my library card. Because our library system is like, oh, we didn't think anybody would ever even want that book. I'm like, yeah, I do. I would prefer to read an ebook. I would be... Oh, did it already come out in September? Okay, I must have seen an old reel that came up, or an old TikTok, because she was talking about pre-orders, and I was like, oh, okay. I had thought her book was out, and then I saw that. It must have been an old one. So, I'll double check it, but I don't think it's available at the library. So, but I have a list of books I want to get that are not at the library. So, those will be probably supplemental later. But, so anyway, yeah, finally finished through that book I didn't like, and now I think I'll go a lot faster through this.
Through the rest?
Because the rest, in looking through them, I'm like, oh yeah, these are books I really want to read, So, anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much that's not just boring old work, but like actual boring part of our work, not like fun, great times that I think are boring, but y'all will be like, no, I actually think it's fascinating. No, it's actually boring. So, I've been making doing price estimates, cost estimates for a project I want to do, and then I'm trying to figure out sales numbers, and I've got to pull a report about. See, it's boring. Somebody out there will be like, ooh, that's totally my jam, but it's not enough of y'all for me to go into it.
Taishu said it right. Unfortunately, our library system is in a state which is one step below book burning.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Sad but true.
And it's just getting worse here in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida just, for anybody who keeps up with U.S. news to any extent, Florida just passed the Florida version of the SAVE Act, which the federal government, Congress has been trying to pass and failing, thankfully, for a while. Don't worry, Florida's got us fucking covered.
Yeah.
A lawsuit's already been brought for it, so whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, basically the way it's written, it eliminates online registration for voting.
It just makes it harder to vote.
And it pretty much eliminates mail-in.
It, air quote, fixes a problem that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist, yeah.
Out of all of the registered voters in Florida, and there are millions, current and previous, out of all those millions of people, we have a total of 198 who have ever registered, and they were not allowed to register. That's not a fucking problem. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want blood pressure to go up.
Yeah.
So.
And the way I understand it right now with the state, they only can really control the college libraries.
Yeah.
Aren't libraries locally?
Our city council can control
Yeah.
them. Silences. I feel like there's multiple libraries that are all go right ahead. It's free. Aren't there a bunch of states that let you sign up for membership no matter where you are? In Florida and in the bigger ones that I looked that were out of state, you have to pay a fee.
Yeah.
An annual fee.
Now I
did look that up. Could I register at other libraries for free?
Now within the state of Florida, we have a library card here where we live.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly all the libraries in Florida talk to one another.
Yes, you can do interlibrary loan.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, with my library card, I could physically walk into any county's library in Florida and get a physical library card.
Correct.
But I could not, I checked, check out their ebooks. It's only for physical books in the physical library.
Yeah. I mean,
I looked. I promise you I looked.
I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, but when I lived down in the Tampa Bay area, I used to go to the library a lot and could request books from other libraries, and they would send them, and
right. For physical books, that's much easier. The licensing on ebooks is much more complicated, and there's depending on how an ebook is licensed to a system, and it is done in different ways, and I do not know the specifics, but in some cases, it can be very expensive to loan out too many ebooks. So you get multiple licenses or whatever, and so from the fact pages I was reading on all of the different library systems I was checking, because I was trying to get to bigger library systems, because it can be so expensive after time, many of them keep their ebooks for their residents or state, local or state. Not all. I did not read the FAQ page of every single library system in the U.S., but the ones here in Florida that I did find that were like, yes, you don't have to be local and you can get a library card here. And even some of the ones out of state, it's limited. So.
Okay.
It was frustrating because I tried to do that workaround, because I remember a couple years ago information going viral on the Bookstagram or Book Talk, because that's where they all get posted first, about how get the Libby app and then get all these library cards and then you get access to all these books. And I was like, maybe a few years ago it was easier, but a lot of libraries have wised the fuck up, and they will let you do it, but then you have to pay a fee. And I was like, for the money I would save, it's a good deal, but I didn't have that $50
at the time. I know. So, anywho, are we good? Get on with their.
Yeah, I still have to cook dinner.
I know. I've already done a lot of the dishes, so.
I know. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for being here, especially to the bitter end.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll see you Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, March 20th. For podcast listeners, that's the day this episode comes out. So yeah, we're gonna go.
Okay.
We'll talk to y'all on Friday.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.